Here's more wrestling news for July 21st, 2022, and we're kicking off this afternoon with NXT 2.0 as the Axiom character made its in-ring debut, being described as a mathematical superhero. The gimmick is a change of pace for A-Kid, who is now Axiom, but it may have been stolen from another wrestler. On Twitter, Chelsea Green accused WWE of stealing the Axiom character from Deonna Purrazzo, who confirmed that she pitched the idea 4 years ago. While Purrazzo never became a mathematical superhero in WWE, she has done well for herself since being released in 2020. But the former Impact Knockouts champion can't be too thrilled to see her character be used for someone else. 2 weeks ago, Wardlow won the AEW TNT Championship from Scorpio Sky, dismantling the Man of the Year in mere minutes to capture his first title in Tony Khan's promotion. Last week, Wardlow kept up his winning ways by retaining against Orange Cassidy, and many believe that AEW did the right thing by giving the popular wrestler the TNT title. WWE Hall of Famer Road Dogg does not share that opinion, however, as during a guest appearance on Dr. Chris Featherstone's podcast, he completely eviscerated the promotion for their handling of the big man. "I wasn't a fan. It took him 18 minutes. The first they give him the Jabroni title, it doesn't mean nothing when he was a guy that seemed like he was the guy, and maybe he is in the future. I just don't think you needed to give him that other than the best title, and then it took him 18 minutes to beat the jokey guy. I didn't understand it at all. It was literally booking 101. You put your big, huge, beautiful babyface against this other beautiful babyface in Orange Cassidy with a gang of guys out there like, what are you trying here? What are you trying to do in this segment? What story are we telling? It's just a good win for Wardlow? Okay, 6 minutes. Kick me, kick me, kick me, go for the super kick, and I powerbomb the crap out of you." Interestingly, these comments come not long after Road Dogg's old tag partner Billy Gunn has said he hopes to get his friend a job in AEW, which may prove difficult after this rant. AEW has spent a lot of time investing in Wardlow, and Mr. Mayhem is certainly holding his own now that he's away from MJF, but the TNT champion isn't to everyone's taste. Now at WrestleMania 34, Nia Jax dethroned Alexa Bliss to capture the Raw Women's Championship, marking the former's only singles title win in WWE. The storyline between the two friends was related to body image issues, which split fans who thought that the insults about Jax's size often went too far. Speaking on the Wives of Wrestling podcast, Jax said that she enjoyed the story going into the match, as both she and Bliss have had real-life struggles with their image, but she also expected the finish to be changed. Jax explained that given that things change all the time in WWE, she was constantly thinking that the finish would be altered and that Bliss would retain the gold instead. This only served to make her title win mean even more to Jax, who said that her niece, who's tall, has her own body confidence issues, and she hopes that the angle helped her. Being released from WWE last year, Jax has said she's unsure whether she'll wrestle again, but her title win in April 2018 will always stick out for the irresistible force. This Monday, WWE will celebrate 20 years of the debut of Rey Mysterio, and while it'll be a celebration of his career, the former world champion has plans for his retirement. Speaking to Sports Illustrated, Rey says he does think about life after the ring, and said that when he's finished, he'd like to see his son Dominic don his mask. The mask is incredibly sacred in Lucha Libre, so it goes to show how much faith Rey has in his son, whose future looks bright in WWE. During this week's Dynamite, Brody King defeated Darby Allin in the show's opener, but the House of Black member wasn't finished there. Grabbing Allin after the match, this prompted both Sting and Malachi Black to appear for their respective sides, but it was another man who became the focus point. During the segment, Miro made his entrance, and the Redeemer seemed slightly different from his usual aggressive persona. Staring at Malachi Black and Brody King from outside the ring, a smirk could be seen on Black's face, as the Bulgarian wrestler could be the next member of his stable. Then again, it could be that Miro wants to fight the House of Black rather than join them, but fans will have to stay tuned to see what happens next. At WrestleMania 36, then Universal Champion Goldberg was meant to face Roman Reigns before the latter pulled out due to the pandemic. It wouldn't be until February 2022 and a major heel turn that Reigns would face off with the Hall of Famer, defeating Goldberg at the Elimination Chamber event. Reigns would get the win that night, but as Goldberg made clear this week to Bleacher Report, he's not done with the Tribal Chief. "It doesn't eat at me by any stretch of the imagination, but it eats at me 100%. Roman and I were on a collision course for a long period of time. It never happened when it would have been the best, but to say anyone that beats me doesn't deserve to have their afterwards, I'd be a liar if I said anything other than that. Goldberg was also asked if there was anyone else he'd love to step in the ring with, and answered with someone who he also believes could be the next Goldberg, NXT champion Braun Breaker. Goldberg had tested positive when he was offered the match against Reigns, but had recovered by the time the bout finally took place, and it'll be up to WWE to decide whether the Hall of Famer gets his rematch. In March this year, the wrestling community lost Scott Hall, who tragically died after a series of heart attacks at the age of 63. WWE would air a heartfelt tribute package for the former Razor Ramon shortly after, but it appears that something else was nearly in the works. That's according to Hall's best friend Kevin Nash, who explained during an episode of Click This that given how close Hall's passing was to WrestleMania 38, that there were ideas pitched for the showcase of the Immortals. WWE wanted to do some things. I just told them, I said, man, you guys can do whatever you want to do. There was talk about doing a hologram thing with Scott and some other things. I said, you guys can do whatever you want to do. I said, I'm not. I said, I'm not going to say anything negative about anybody that wants to do something for them. Ultimately, WWE did not go with some big Hall tribute at WrestleMania, a wise decision as the last thing the company would want to do at their biggest annual show is to remind fans that a man just died under awful circumstances. Hall's legacy lives on in the memories he made for fans and the friends he made in life, and he didn't need a hologram to accomplish either of those. When Ronda Rousey joined WWE in 2018, she became arguably the biggest signing ever, having established herself for years in the UFC. In January this year, Rousey returned to WWE TV after a near 3-year hiatus, and while she's been dominant once more, a UFC star isn't impressed. Speaking to MMA Hour, Juliana Pena described Rousey as a joke for joining the sports entertainment juggernaut, saying, "She opened up the door and was destroying people in 10 seconds and became a star because she was demolishing people in the first round, and that's great, but she got knocked out twice and never came back. So how legit is she? She had to go to pro wrestling. And I get that, and I think that that's great, but as a fighter and somebody who is competitive, I know that, deep down, it probably truly bothers her. The fact that she went away off of 2 knockout losses and never came back to make her name good. She's kind of a joke in the MMA world now because she's a, sellout. But for me, for like, you're the real deal, I would say that that's in the UFC. And if she ever wants any of that real smoke, I'm ready." In the end, Rousey will do what's best for her, and for the new mother, that's working in the much safer WWE. During this week's NXT 2.0, a battle royal was held to determine the next opponent for NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose, which was won by Zoe Stark. In her first match in 9 months, Stark's return meant that she wasn't promoted for the show ahead of time, but one superstar had the opposite experience. For much of the match, Japanese superstar Sarray was among the many women advertised for the match, but the show went ahead without any sighting of her. WWE did not give any explanation either on or off screen as to why Sarray was promoted but not used for the show, as her absence has been interesting to say the least. Many fans have criticized Sarray's current gimmick, but would have enjoyed seeing the massively talented superstar in the match. We know that Zoe Stark will have an NXT Women's title match one day, but for Sarray, time will tell when she will appear next, and if WWE will even address her hiatus from this week's show. And we're ending today with Ric Flair, who will wrestle his final match on July 31st in what will be an emotional night for the Nature Boy. Flair will team with his son-in-law Andrade El Idolo to face Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, but the former NXT champion may not be the only family member to get involved. During the latest episode of his To Be the Man podcast, Rick teased that his daughter Charlotte may get involved on the show. Can I tell you something right now? And I'm saying this from my heart, and you know her very well. Jeff, if she sees him behind the curtain, may get the beat out of him by Ashley before he ever gets to the ring. She stands by her man, good lord. I wouldn't want her coming up to me at 100 miles an hour. That was not a smart comment, especially to her husband. If she wasn't coming, I know she's there now. Both him and Karen Jarrett, they both better walk around her on glass. Given that Charlotte is a WWE star, you'd presume that she wouldn't be appearing on camera during the event, but to be fair, WWE is allowing Jeff Jarrett, their head of live events, to appear for Flair's last match. Despite the controversies Flair has had, WWE still has a lot of love for the Nature Boy, and if he wants his daughter to make an appearance for his final ever match, then the McMahon-based promotion may grant that wish. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.